Tonight on Connecticut's news station, washed out roads, crumbling highways, increased concerns tonight about flooding in parts of the state, and what's next for homeowners who are still recovering from days of rain.
Also, marijuana sales reaching an all-time high in Connecticut, exactly 6 months since recreational sales began. Where all that money's going and how it could help communities across our state.
Lowell Weicker was never afraid to make hard choices and to fight for what he believed in.
And remembering Lowell Weicker, we'll hear how his loved ones and former colleagues are honoring the former governor.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight with parts of Connecticut and the Northeast dealing with flooding. Good evening. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here at 10 tonight. The floods have caused significant damage for some communities in our state and have even turned deadly in one part of the region. That was Highland Falls here in New York, about a village 35 miles away from the Connecticut borderline, right along the Hudson River. A woman died there while trying to escape high water near her home. Back in Connecticut, Norfolk is one of many Litchfield Hills towns dealing with flood damage tonight. Some of the worst flooding up in the Connecticut River all the way to our north in Vermont in towns like Bristol and Cabot.
And here's a full look at the Attahquechee River. Really unbelievable video out of Woodstock, Vermont. The river has overflowed after heavy rain today and over the weekend. Vermont's governor says this is the worst flooding the state has seen since Hurricane Irene in 2011.
This is an all-hands-on-deck response. 2 swiftwater rescue teams from North Carolina are in the state, and we folded into our operations. Another team from Massachusetts is en route.
Connecticut is also sending an urban search and rescue team up to Vermont. 8 members of that unit will help out with swiftwater rescue missions.
And we just showed you some of the damage here in Connecticut, in Norfolk, and that's where we find Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner. She joins us there live. The town is still under an emergency declaration. DeAndrea, what are you seeing?
Hey, you guys, well, this is something that the town members are going to have to get used to. Road close and detour signs. The PIO tells me that this could be an average of a few weeks to a few months, just depending on how severe this road damage is.
The icebox of Connecticut is known for its heavy snows, not for its heavy rains.
Cleanup and repairs are underway all across northwest Connecticut, especially in the town of Norfolk. Public Information Officer John Barbagello says the town got between 12 and 16 inches of rain on Sunday, causing damage that could take weeks to months to repair.
It is a very time-consuming process. Even though we are under an emergency declaration and a few things can get streamlined, it's still going to be weeks to months before things are back to normal.
All throughout Litchfield County, roads washed out, streets shut down, and severe damage left behind.
I've lived here 35 plus years. I have never seen it this bad.
Martha McClellan lives right off of Route 272.
When I saw the water running across 272 down Smith Road, and then I saw the road start to buckle and the culverts being exposed, I says, okay, this is not good. Driveway got washed out yesterday, last night, this morning, and I just had that fixed. But yeah, it was rough.
While getting roads safely back open is the #1 priority, officials say the price tag will be hefty and they don't know where all the funding will come from.
Easily talking to our road foreman already, we're up to several $1 million in repairs, and we don't know where that's gonna come from.
I was going to say the town selectman.
Bingo.
Now the town selectman is working on securing fundings for this project, but again, many of these roads, they are going to be closed from weeks into months out. Now for more updates on when your road may be open, the PIO tells me that you can check all town social media pages. Now Norfolk, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut News Station.
DeAndrea, thank you. Even though tomorrow will be hot and dry, the flooding will not be drying up immediately.
I know. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. So, Rachel, where are these flooding concerns going to hang around for us?
It's really going to be for the Connecticut River. So if you look at the various flood warnings that are in effect through the state, they're in effect for the Housatonic River, the Farmington River, and the Connecticut River. But the Housatonic River levels are falling, so minor flood stage is occurring, but water is starting to recede. The Farmington River at Simsbury has not crested crested just yet, but is expected to crest at minor flood stage during the day tomorrow. But the Connecticut River is going to rise a lot as we head through the next 24 hours. Right now it's very low, but as all the water from upstream starts to flow into those tributaries and moves down into Connecticut, it is expected to crest at moderate levels during the day tomorrow at Thompsonville and Middle Haddam, and it's expected to crest at minor levels for the Hartford area. So you're going to see those water levels increase in a big way as we head through the next 24 hours or so, long after the rain has already done falling. Low temperatures tonight falling back into the 60s as we head through the day tomorrow. The humidity is not going to be as high as it was outside today. It's still humid, just not tropical intensity like we've been dealing with for the last couple of weeks. And a completely dry day from start to finish tomorrow, which is really different for a change. We'll see temperatures at lunchtime in the mid 80s, and we'll see high temperatures climb into the mid to upper 80s as we head through the afternoon. It's even hotter for Wednesday, but the humidity comes back, and so does the chance for showers and storms. We'll break it down for you. Full forecast coming up.
Sounds like a plan, Rachel. Thank you. Whether it's flash flooding or hot temperatures, stay up to date by downloading the free Fox 61 News app, where you can find live radar and hour-by-hour forecasts. It's also a great resource for breaking news and traffic conditions all across Connecticut. Well, new at 10 tonight, marijuana sales reaching an all-time high in Connecticut, exactly 6 months since recreational sales began.
And tonight we're looking into how much money our state has made so far and where that money is going. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joins us in studio tonight to answer some of those questions for us. Gabby, what'd you learn?
Well, Ben and Sarah, the state has sold $100 million, more than that actually, in both recreational and medical marijuana sales since January. Now, the state makes its money through taxes on those sales, and that money goes to several different funds. For marijuana dispensaries in Connecticut, the past 6 months have gone by in the blink of an eye.
You know, that getting open process felt like it took a while, but since then it's been sort of off to the races. Getting products in, seeing new people every day.
Recreational cannabis sales began back on January 10th, and since then, sales have increased each month, with a total of more than $122 million in recreational and medical sales combined in these first 6 months.
Really, really well. We're seeing a constant increase in sales and customers.
Fine Fettle has 4 locally owned dispensaries around the state. They say while Connecticut was not the first in the area to allow for recreational cannabis, interest does seem to be growing.
More expansion, more opportunity, and you know, we're just really hoping to keep this pace going where we're seeing 800-900 people a day.
But where does the money made go? Connecticut makes its share of the profit through taxes. Recreational cannabis is subject to 3. The 6.35% sales tax, a state tax based on the amount of THC in the product, and a 3% municipal tax. The money goes to the general fund, to a prevention and recovery services fund, and to a social equity and innovation fund.
So I think this is a step in the right direction to say, hey, we're going to make amends.
The social equity funds go back into the communities most impacted by the war on drugs. Neighborhood Housing Services of Waterbury is one of 6 grant managers that received $1 million to support organizations in the city. The money, which comes from cannabis sales, will go to reentry and youth programs.
And we know there are a lot of organizations out there that will make good use of this, and we're just looking forward to getting it out in the community so we can make the city of Waterbury a better place to live.
The application process for those funds is open now. We have more details on our website, fox61.com. Now, I mentioned the municipal tax. Coming up at 11, I'll tell you how towns and cities can use the money that they make from that. In the studio, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, thank you, Gabby. Man from Farmington died at a Rhode Island beach over the weekend. Frank Seville was pulled from the ocean at Misquamicut State Beach in Westerly on Friday. Lifeguards say he was unresponsive. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. It's unclear if he drowned or suffered a medical issue. Officials are still investigating his cause of death.
Connecticut says goodbye to former Governor Lowell Weicker.
Yeah, a funeral was held for him at St. Barnabas Church in Greenwich today. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst shows us how former Governor Weicker's legacy is being remembered.
It was a somber day for state leaders, family, and friends of Lowell Weicker. Current Governor Ned Lamont giving a eulogy at today's service, saying he's lost a mentor, remembering Weicker as not just an accomplished lawmaker and governor, but as a friend. Monday's service filled with laughter, tears, and thanks for former Governor Lowell Weicker.
I never thought we would be doing this. It just seemed like he was going to live forever.
Friends and family gathered with state leaders and lawmakers to honor Weicker's legacy.
He was at his absolute best when someone needed help. He was a man who would go to any lengths to help those in need, be it his son, a family member, or someone he had never met before.
Weicker began his political career in the Connecticut General Assembly in 1963, later holding seats as Greenwich 1st Selectman and in the U.S. House of Representatives, and he went on to become a U.S. Senator.
In the face of emerging facts, Lowell Weicker made sure a lantern was held up to the darkness.
He loved the back and forth and give and take of politics, no question about it. Like them all, he loved to win, but unlike most politicians, he wasn't afraid to lose.
After losing Senate re-election in 1988, Weicker ran a successful independent campaign for governor, taking office during a worsening financial crisis for the state.
He was the right man at the right time to take on a state that was in a world of hurt. The House was on fire, the Connecticut House, and he was a first responder.
Lamont acknowledged many may think of Weicker as the income tax governor, but says he fought for so much more. He championed fights for the environment, people with disabilities, HIV and AIDS research, and was pro-choice.
He was an advocate for those who did not have a voice and for those who were marginalized. Look out, heaven, here he comes.
Weicker is survived by his wife, 5 sons and 2 stepsons, 12 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. Governor Lamont is directing flags to return to full staff at sunset tonight.
All right. Thank you, Emma. You can learn more about the life of former Governor Lowell Weicker on Fox61.com. You can read about his rise through politics, his early support in the fight against the AIDS epidemic, and his accomplishments after he was governor.
A major figure here in Connecticut.